On the topic of Ben Stoeger, the controversy, and kind of moving forward with his response video, I do want to say that that I didn't mention this last time. I should have mentioned it before we start going. But I've met Ben in person 2 times. I've talked with him for the last year or so, ever since I think it was almost a year ago that we did the shit show with Matt Pranka and Ben Stoeger. After that, I met Ben down in Arizona, where he was taking a class. Basically, him and Matt Pranka were taking a class down there. I asked Ben, like, hey, can I just show up? Because I was going to be in Las Vegas for SHOT Show. So I made the extra drive down to Arizona to take the class and then go back to SHOT Show. I attempted to pay Ben for the class that I took from him and Matt Pranka. Ben said no. So I tried to pay him and he wouldn't even let me. He let me go to a sold out class when it was already sold out and take up an extra slot. So my interaction with Ben has been nothing but positive. And so you need to understand that I am positively biased towards Ben, because again, to me, he's been nothing but good, right? Now, that does not absolve him of some of the other things that he's going to admit to in the video, but I just want to lay that out, that there is that relationship that we have. So there's bias there. Keep that in mind, all right? So without any further ado, Richard, have you watched his video?
I have not.
YouTube, those of you that are drama fans, well, today you will be richly rewarded. I don't talk about my life a whole lot on YouTube. You might notice that's intentional. I don't try to put any of my life online, but I've been accused of many, many bad things. So I'm going to have to tell my side of the story just a little bit.
Gecko Chaser says that's some Diddy logic. Well, Ben isn't accused of being a pedo. Ben's accused of being an asshole, which is probably true, right? So there's levels to it, right? You can't say that's Diddy logic because, like, oh, Diddy was nice to somebody in 2012 or something like that.
Yeah, Ben uses his lube for his guns.
Yeah. That I'm not going any farther with that.
I think people need to hear me say that I didn't do certain things, as far as like hitting people or hitting women, essay on women, that kind of stuff. People need to hear me say that. And that's true. Like, I don't do those things, haven't done those things.
Right. So I think those were the big ones that people were actually worried about, because PSI and other people have, if not outright claimed, alluded to the fact that Ben has essayed people or like assaulted people, right? Which are like legal crimes, and those carry, I would imagine, libel claims and defamation claims. So I'd be very careful about those sorts of allegations against him. But everything else, Ben's basically just going to agree with.
Now, the PSI claims, they were walking along the edge, right? I don't think they were outright claiming that he essayed someone, correct?
Pretty damn close.
It was just alluding to that.
Pretty damn close, yeah. Let me see here. And so people were wanting to cancel Ben. People were wanting to talking to Lucas Botkin, like, oh, you got to get rid of this guy. You got to talk out against him. You've got to, totally disavow him. Basically, you have got to grovel to us until we feel good enough about your disavowal of Ben, basically. And they were trying to go after everybody that he's worked with, everybody that he's ever talked to, the ranges where he teaches classes at. Basically, they wanted Ben like removed from the internet for what equates to a bad conversation with a woman where he goes way too far, and he admits to it. He should not have done it. He was acting like a petulant child. He was having what he claims to be like essentially a mental breakdown, right? Which, you shouldn't do it. There's no excuse for doing it, right? You still have to say that was wrong, that was bad, but then you move forward from there, right? There's always got to be a path forward. You don't just cancel someone for all of eternity because they got really mad one time and acted really silly in an inappropriate way, right? Completely inappropriate. Don't do that. 5 years later, though, I think we can all, move past it, basically.
100%.
But I'll give you a little bit of context. And I wouldn't even say I'm going to defend myself. Some of the stuff, I've done horrible shit in my life. Absolutely. And I wouldn't defend it, and I wouldn't tell you to do it. But yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. First, if you haven't.
Yeah, so I agree with Ben. Ben's done bad things to people. And, he owns it, says don't do it. The people that he needs to apologize to are those people, right? He's never attempted to be a moral figure to people. Online, he is drama focused and he's shooting focused. That's what he does, right? So it's only for people who looked up to him as some sort of moral arbiter or for people that pretend to be a moral arbiter, right? So I don't think there's necessarily like a hypocritical angle for him, unless you say maybe he goes after somebody like, let's say, Terran Tactical for being really wonky in his relationships with women, right? So if he's making fun of Terran for that, but he's kind of doing the same thing, then you can say, okay, well, there's some hypocrisy there, Ben. Maybe you shouldn't be talking about that, right?
Seen it, you probably will. One of my ex-girlfriends released a video of me, say, incoherent, yelling, not sober, not sober, not slept, not okay. My behavior was reprehensible, I would say. In the video that Crystal put out, it's not normal for me, not at all. I would describe that probably as the worst day of my life. Just as far as how I was feeling and my behavior, like I was having all kinds of problems. The video that many of you have seen, and a lot of people have commented on the channel about it, making fun of me. I get it. It's good to make fun. I get it. Like, I get it.
Well, so I think that Ben does have to understand the way that you, and this is a thing with Me Too, right? Not just Me Too movement, but with Me Too, like me as well. Anytime you make fun of people or companies, or like, let's say I called out another YouTuber for taking a really bad ad sponsorship, right? And then like 6 weeks later, I'm also taking a sketchy sponsorship. Every single one of you would be in the right to start making fun of me and critiquing and calling me out for that bad action, right? And so the standard you hold other people to is what you should expect you get held to as well, right? And so I think Ben is self-aware enough to understand that, yeah, people, it's the internet. They're going to clown on you because that's kind of what you're known for. So expect a little bit of that in return.
But it was not, I would not describe that situation as normal. What I needed was help. And let's go to the statement that my ex, Crystal, put out about this video.
Big Racer says, why are we talking about this? Well, so he got accused publicly, right? Hundreds, thousands of people saw it. He got accused publicly. I think it is only right for him to be able to defend himself publicly, right? So you have to be equal. So if we talk about the allegations, you have to also talk about the other side, right? Which would be the defense or the refutation of those allegations. So I think it is only fair to play that both ways.
Yeah, we did cover the video that she took, the one that he is referencing. So I believe it is important to.
And we will talk about that more, right? We will talk about that more because Ben's going to talk about it in the statement and all that other stuff.
I'll just read from some of this, from what she had to say here. Recently, women came to me and found out things you don't see here that happened to me. He went on to do them and sometimes worse. The time to be silenced no longer. We had arguments at times, to be sure. I could get emotional or say mean things at times, like any person. So I understand your point, but that was not the case here. What is it? Yeah.
He's trying to find like her actual response. The girl Crystal, which actually, let me pull up her Instagram real fast because we'll just point out a couple of things, you know, just maybe some things don't quite line up with the way that you might think. Crystal Dunn here. So let me have that save for later.
Yeah, anyway, she just gives some context to the video. It was a very bad day for me. Very bad. I wouldn't defend it at all. But her story is like not really true when she says, no one, including his family, would believe me. No one would help me. The video was taken and sent to them, in which his parents finally came to help. Let me read a text message from one of my friends, and she'll know who this is. She's straight lying. I was on the phone that night, including during the part in the video. I told her to help you. Do they realize you were having a bad reaction? So quick to point the finger at you, but when I was talking to you and Crystal that night, I was concerned for your safety. And not once did you lay a hand on her that night. She told me so on the night and in the days following. I'm only reading the comments to make sure my list of people I'll never speak to again is complete. Yeah, Crystal was not alone. When I was having, again, my behavior was horrible. She wasn't alone. My friends were involved. My family was involved. What ended up happening, again, I'm not defending my behavior. We went to a doctor. Like Crystal, my mother and I, we went to the doctor. Like something is wrong. Like my behavior is not normal at all. I kind of calmed down over the course of the day. Again, there was some doctor visits to try to figure out what had happened, like what caused the episode. And it was a confluence of a lot of things. It was real bad. It hasn't happened before that and hasn't happened since. Like the immediate situation got cleared up. Again, like my real bad behavior you saw in the video where I'm swearing and shouting and not making any sense and incoherent and all of that.
I will not stop screaming until you admit I invented logic.
That's the that's the gist of it. And Ben's actions in that video are very petulant, very childish. He's angry, he's aggressive, but at no point does he like threaten her. He's essentially in a yelling match with a woman, which always looks bad. Always, always, always looks bad. And I think it is not only does it look bad, but you shouldn't allow yourself to get into these situations, right? It is a failure, right? And he agrees with that. He says he doesn't defend it. It was reprehensible, shouldn't have done it, all of that sort of stuff. The odd part to me, though, is Crystal's framing of everything. Because remember, this altercation happened 5 years ago. And then she remained with Ben after this. And he went to, he went not only to doctors to figure out what had happened there, but he also went to therapy for years while he and Crystal were still dating. So she knew that he was like working through whatever he needed to work through the entire time, but then kept the video to drop 5 years later after all of this had already been resolved. So that's what I'm confused about with the timing. And I mean, yeah, whether it's a mental break, whether it's a little bit of intoxication, whether it's a little bit of recreational drugs or whatnot, all of those things are bad. Don't do them, right? For me, like I don't talk to any women that I'm not married to or related to. I don't partake in any drugs or alcohol whatsoever. I think those almost always lead to bad places, right? But if you're going to mix all three of those things together, stuff like this is going to happen, right? This is the end result. This is like the inevitable end result of that. Is you're going to have a crash out at some point. You're going to get something bad's going to happen. Some people get DUIs. Some people get into yelling matches. Some people get into fist fights. But that sort of lifestyle, it's not a recipe for success long term.
Yeah, I do think that the timing is a little bit dubious. As far as holding on to it for 5 years, like you said, and then
but after you're with him.
To.
Well, yeah, but you're with him and you realize that he had a mental break. He acknowledges it. He says he's in the wrong for it. He says it's reprehensible. And then he goes to therapy to attempt to fix his issues. And you're still with him for 2 years. And then you release the video 5 years later. Like 5 years later. Like the timing just seems a little odd there, especially with what we're going to see in just a second, where when Ben breaks up with the girl, she does not want him to leave. Like she very adamantly wants him to stay with her, which again, if you're like, wow, I'm afraid for the women that he's with. It's like, well, wait, you were with him and you wanted to be with him. So, I mean, it's just strange. I'm sure if she wanted to come on, I'd be happy to have Crystal on and explain her side of the story. Because I think that's, again, only fair, but it just seems odd. Okay. So that's why, there's lots of disclaimers here.
Again, like, hadn't happened since and didn't happen before that.
Well, I think from Ben's perspective, let's say that he's correct here. Let's say he's not lying here, right? Because you also don't have to take Ben at his word. Like you don't have to take Crystal at her word. You don't have to take Ben at his word either, right? You can be skeptical of it, right? So you don't have to die on any of these hills. Therapy for yelling in a relationship comical. If this was actually like because I've known people who have had behavioral issues that were actually a biological thing, right? Where they actually needed something to get fixed, right? Whether it was that their hormones were just all out of whack because of a compounding issue or some other thing. So I've known people who were behaved one way, and then after they fixed their underlying issue, like those symptoms, that behavior kind of went away. So for Ben, like if you're normally even keeled, let's say, and then for like a while, you're just angry and you're just mad and you fly off at the handle and you're like, what is wrong with me? What am I doing there? I think that there are events that can cause you to, look inside and see if there is actually something wrong that you need to fix. Therapy is a little gay, though.
Even though I was okay, I had started therapy anyway. Like I was feeling fine, but I I just wanted to like feel better. And then this process went on for years. I had a therapist for years, after the incident you all saw. Um, as part of that, as part of that process, it was just kind of like, yeah, you're in a relationship with someone that you love very much, and they really don't like you. And I just, again, this was a very long process with lots of stuff that happened, but ultimately, like, I made a plan with the therapist to end the relationship on a particular day. I still remember it. It's July 5th, 2022. I still remember that. I was like, you need to get out of here. This would be better for you.
So again, keep in mind the timeline. This occurring event, inciting event, where Ben is doing a little bit of crazy yelling.
Stop screaming until you admit I invented logic.
So between that event and the time he actually decides to break up with her through, this interaction with his therapist is 2 years, or like more than 2 years, that he's still with Crystal and Crystal's still with him. So it just seems like if she was actually afraid or hated him or thought that he was like this super awful, evil dude, then, at any point in those 2 years, while she knows that he's going to therapy, that he's working through his issues or whatnot, like she could have just left, right? If you although women do strange things, all right? Women do strange things. I'll say that.
And it would be better for her. Our relationship, again, it was not good. Now, my behavior was worse, especially in the beginning. Early years, I was for sure like real bad. Towards the end, I was different. I was probably better. My behavior is probably a lot better. In any event, I made a plan with the therapist to give her a letter, like real brief, like, being with you makes me feel sad. I'm not going to do it anymore. It's like something. It was more than that slightly, but not much. It's just like, this is it. She's never going to accept it, right? But this is what I should do. And then just cut off contact.
Bro, he called that. Yeah, this is one thing where the therapist was absolutely right, because we'll see her reaction to this was wild.
So we didn't live together or anything. I just took my stuff and left. Like, I wasn't good to her at all, but kind of the language I'm using here, it doesn't really sound like someone who's trying to hurt her or abusing her. Like, it sounds kind of fucking pussy, to be real. Like, if I sit here and say, yeah, I made a plan with my therapist to end the relationship. Like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, it sounds like somebody should Photoshop like blue hair. It's like, oh, I made a plan with my therapist to leave my boyfriend. Like that is kind of what it sounds like. So he is self-aware in that regard. And you guys are pointing it out in chat. Like, therapy, as a guy, therapy's a little gay. So I mean, admitting that you had to make a plan to leave your girlfriend with the help of your therapist after 2 years, as you're like a middle-aged man, a little awkward to admit that online, especially when you're Mr. Ben Stoeger.
Ignore the fact that he started dating the therapist a couple weeks later. That's okay.
That's
a joke. That's a joke.
He did say he had problems. And when he says, like, Ben's a horn dog, okay? So, like, Ben has a reputation of this. So, would you ever take relationship or dating advice from Ben? Don't do it. Don't do it. Nope. Should you model your life after Ben's? Don't do that. The shooting part of it, if you want to be a great shooter, sure, you can do that. But the moral advice and stuff like that, don't do it. And I think Ben would probably be the first person to tell you not to do it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So another ex that I lived with after this, her name is Faith. She accused me of, let me pull it up.
Yeah. So Faith and Crystal are the two girl names. So, okay, before we get to Faith, though, because I do want to keep everybody on the same track. Okay. I'll try to make it easy.
Are these real names?
Yeah. I know that they all sound like stripper names, but that's just, you got to understand that's Ben's type. All right. So Crystal Dunn, this is Crystal Dunn. I'm sure she's a fine lady. And again, if she wants to come on at some point and tell her story, totally fine, understandable. I believe she is some sort of firearms instructor. I help train new gun owners to feel more capable and confident. I create funny and useful, sometimes educational content. Competitor. First Amendment, Second Amendment. Okay, so I mean, she has like a decent Instagram account. And yeah, I mean, it's female gun posting, right? So I mean, she does training classes and stuff like that. And I'm not sure if that's how she and Ben met, because they're both in this, the 2A gun space, or if meeting Ben got her into the 2A gun space. Not exactly sure. One little thing. So she did an interview with Graybeard Actual, which is Matt Little, I want to say is his real name. Known USPSA cheater and liar, like just confirmed multiple times. He claimed to be a GM, but he cheated all those runs. He's showed up in the wrong division multiple times and tried to cheat with an open gun. So I mean, she did a podcast with him, which isn't the worst thing to do, but just a little strange. But here's her actual post that she made. We had a long, toxic, and traumatic relationship that went on way longer than it should have, which you both agree with. And again, this is Crystal speaking. If you've never been psychologically abused, gaslit, cheated on, and manipulated, it's hard to understand why you would say that. Now, I have no problem agreeing with her here that Ben did all these things, because Ben almost certainly did do all of these things in some way, shape, or form. But again, it was probably a little bit of a two-way street, right? It's a mindset that they put you in slowly over time, and you don't snap out of it overnight. I loved him very much and was very blind to a lot of things for a long time. The day we broke up, he told me, I love you, have a great day at work, and then he just snuck out while I was gone. I found a 2-sentence note with no real explanation, which is again what Ben said that he had planned to do. Later, I drove an hour and a half to his house. Also, gentlemen, if a woman breaks up with you, or if there's, for the two women here, if a man breaks up with you and leaves, do not show up at his residence. Do not show up at his work. Don't do that. Do not do that. That's bad. That leads to lots of bad things. Don't do that. Later, I drove an hour and a half to his house, hoping for even just a 5-minute conversation, some sort of explanation. I was told to leave. Yes, as you should do. And I left. This is the video I guess he took of me and had sent to me in an effort to silence me or plans to use to discredit me. Well, he probably sent it to you at some point in the 5 years because you were acting crazy, right? So this is Crystal. Ben's recording her inside of his house as he is asking her to leave. So she drove an hour and a half to show up at his house after he had broken up with her to plead with him for a conversation or to get back together. Do not do this. Do not do this, right? And now Ben is recording it, which is only fair considering that, he's asking her to leave. And for a police report, like if she had come up to him and hit him, like freaked out, like you want to record that. I think recording exes or crazy situations, like even her, when she recorded Ben earlier, like if she had been recording and Ben had hit her or had done something like threatened her or something like that, I think it's very fair to record people if you feel in danger or whatnot, right? So Ben is just recording her, as he probably should, considering that he's asking her to leave and she is not.
I'm going to call the police if you don't leave. I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice here. You need to leave now. We are done talking. We are done talking. We're done talking. No more conversations. We're done talking. Please leave.
You said you loved me and
please
have a good day at
leave.
work, and then you just snuck out.
Leave.
So again, Ben is being calm but forcefully saying, like, listen, I got to call the cops if you don't leave. And you have to. As an adult, you have to leave. It is somebody else's house. He's made it clear that you are not welcome. You are now trespassing. You have to leave. It is over. It is over.
Leave. You need to go.
Why are you treating me this
You need to go.
And please, why?
You need to go.
Just sit down and talk to me for 5 minutes and I'll go, please.
Leave now.
5 minutes, please.
Leave.
Why would you?
Well, that's the question. Did he open the door? Because I don't think that he was expecting her to show up. Right? You saying that he opened the door is maybe not correct, right? That's just additional information that we don't know. Maybe he did. But it's also possible, like, because they were together for years, that she just had a key to his house, right?
Or, like most people, she might have known where he keeps his spare.
Or that too, right? So, I mean, way too evil says, not gonna lie, I feel bad for her. And I think you can. Like, I think you can have empathy for her. Like, she went to work one day and then came home, found a letter saying that, hey, by the way, we're no good for each other and I'm leaving. However, from a man's perspective, like, you don't want to get into an altercation with a woman, right? Because, like, if you break up with her face to face, if she's yelling, screaming at you, crying, then you feel bad. And then you're like, well, maybe we could stay together. But instead, just clean break, never see each other again. That's kind of the ideal way for a man to get out of a relationship. Just like, all right, bye, I'm done. You know, obviously women probably don't like that very much, but I feel like that's ideal for men anyways.
Look at me.
Leave. Leave.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, breakups aren't really good. And then she does leave, but Ben has been very nice but forceful with her. You need to get out of here. She follows on, I look heartbroken and pathetic, which, we hope that she's earnest in that. Relationships can be ugly and messy, and the last thing I want to do is put my personal life on display. You did kind of start it, though.
Yeah.
You did kind of start it by releasing the other video from 5 years ago. And then after you were together, went through 2 years of therapy, and then 3 years after the breakup, you decide to release the other video, right? So it's kind of only fair now. The last thing I want to do is put my personal life on display. This all makes me feel physically ill. Shouldn't have done it. But make no mistake, I moved on. Maybe.
X.
And I'm very happy in my life and was extremely reluctant to get involved. I made peace with what was done to me and was what was done to me.
Ooh,
well, I do like that though. That is peak women talking right there. What was done to me? It's like, maybe just take some accountability for your own actions here. Not saying that Ben doesn't deserve to take all the accountability in the world as well, and that all the things that he did to her were bad. Okay, both things can be true. Ben could be a complete asshole, right, to his girl. Don't do that. Totally wrong. Immoral. Don't do that. Okay. But she could also say like, hey, you know what? I also made some mistakes and we weren't good for each other.
Yeah, she could have just said, I made peace with what happened, not was done to me.
Yeah, it's what was done to me. It's like, well, you chose to live with him for years. I mean, like, at some point you have to take some accountability for your actions. Not blaming you for everything, but like you got to take some accountability for your actions. What was done to me, and was happy just to let the past be bad memories. The only reason I did so was because there are allegations floating around there from people that are afraid to speak up, and this is why he will try to discredit you and attack you and ruin your life. Now, that's a little bit of projection, considering I feel like that's what she did to him.
Yeah.
A little bit.
The redirect on all of this is wild. The mental gymnastics that are taking place here is Olympic level.
Because, I mean, I feel like preemptively you tried to discredit him and attack him and his business and everything else, right? This is why he keeps getting away with it. Everyone is afraid of his wrath. I don't know if anyone's afraid of Ben Stoeger, but a lot of people dislike Ben Stoeger, right? For sure. He has made a lot of friends and a lot of enemies. Which, maybe that's something that I identify with a little bit, so I'm a little bit more biased towards him in that way, because I also don't mind making a few people upset here and there, right? I tried to do my part, and I still hope any woman or student was coerced, etc. speaks out. Message, practical shooting insights. But I just want to go back to my life. You win, Ben. I'm out. Which is such a backhanded way to walk away. You win, Ben. As I, leak a mental break from 5 years ago or whatnot. It's a backhanded way out of the conversation. Now, as far as the other allegations go, which we'll get into in just a second. Listen, if any of them are true and Ben has done anything illegal or SA or assault or anything like that, like, yeah, people at that point should probably ostracize people 100%, right? But until that point, we're just all operating on the rumor mill, he said, she said, and pretty explicitly two psychos in a relationship, right? You could say, well, Ben was 69% bad and she was only 31% bad, but still, it's two people who were certainly bad for each other and certainly did bad things to each other, both of which can be completely reprehensible.
I don't believe the SA claims, because to hold on to that information for however long, not tell anybody, not go to the cops. I do not believe it, but that's just my 2 cents.
Well, so we're going to get into the second claim by Faith. That was Crystal. Now we get to Faith. The next lady is going to be, what's another good one? I don't know, Cinnamon. It's going to be the next lady or something like that. Whoa, yes. Many women are competent drivers. Thank you, Subarctic Psycho.
Up here. What is she saying I did? He's a very dangerous person. Well, we live together. I've never been more scared or abused in my life. My daughter is still in therapy after him. Please take this seriously. It is not to be joked about. And, I was with her, and this is what she's saying about me in public. I have a way cleaner nose on this one. Like, I didn't do anything to her. We got together. We were together pretty briefly. It was not a good fit, not at all. And I decided, like, okay, this is gonna have to end. That's the best thing. And I didn't want an incident. Like, post therapy, modern Ben is much smarter about how to handle these situations. So it was a similar playbook, right? Leave a letter, no confrontation, no shouting match. It'll come as a surprise to her, but you know, it's just the cleanest thing. The downside there was that she lived with me. So on the
Uh-oh.
way out of town, I left the letter, and then she went nuclear and trashed my house.
Oh.
Trashed my house.
That's okay. So here's the thing. We could, again, completely disregard both sides of the story because both people have zero evidence to support their claims. She is claiming that Ben was abusive to her and her daughter, which is an insanely serious claim, and that her daughter is still in therapy because of whatever Ben did. And Ben is saying, like, I mean, no. Also, when I broke up with you, again, via a letter, which seems to be the MO at this point, it is a way to clean break pretty easily and very low effort, low interaction as well. Then she trashes his house, allegedly, right? Also kind of a serious claim, destruction of property. So these two people, they're throwing claims back and forth. You, as the individual watching this, have no reason to believe one over the other. So you can essentially disregard both.
House, and then did ultimately leave, and then has been texting me for more than a year. I don't reply to her. Just like nasty.
Okay, now listen, this is the one thing that if Ben does have a history of a year of unanswered text messages, pretty damning that the girl's a bit of a psycho, okay? All right? All right. Pretty damning. A year of nasty unanswered messages. Maybe Ben wasn't the biggest problem in the relationship, right?
It seems Ben
been
prefers the top end of the hot, crazy matrix.
Yeah. Yeah, like, he's literally like 9 or 10, doesn't matter, but it must be maximum crazy.
What was it you said the other night?
More than a year. I don't reply to her.
Grippy box?
Oh yeah. Grippy socks, grippy box. Yeah. He prefers the mentally unstable pre-psych ward ladies, not the ones that have come out and been reformed, but before they go to the psych ward. That's Ben's type. And honestly, that's kind of Ben as well.
Ultimately leave, and then has been texting me for more than a year. I don't reply to her. Just like nasty, like what a piece of shit I am for more than a year on the back end of that. Now I'm giving you the context here with that situation, so you can think about it. Like, does this sound like someone who, while she's in this relationship, she believes I'm abusing her? It doesn't sound like normal behavior. Like, they don't really act that way. It's like, same with Crystal. She didn't, like, during the relationship, if you look at like the broader context, like, I wasn't doing anything to her. Like, I was not a good boyfriend, not at all, especially early on. But I wasn't like.
Well, I mean, yeah, Ben has almost certainly cheated on, ran around on, lied to every girl. He's not every girl, but most girls that he's ever been with. Like, I mean, you know, that's what broke up his marriage, I believe, as well. So, I mean, you know, there's a pattern there. Ben is a bad boy, okay? And we don't have to cope about it. We can just be like, yep, Ben's done a lot of bad things, to people that he shouldn't have done. But also, you know, I don't know, what are you supposed to do? Like, completely get rid of him because he was mean to a girl in 2019, or he was a little too loud, or had a mental breakdown, or, you know, it really depends, you know. Now, if he was a marriage counselor, maybe he should lose his job, right? Or maybe if he was a therapist and he was banging all of the people in therapy, maybe then he should lose his job, right? But as a shooting instructor who teaches people how to shoot good, yeah, you know, his marital status isn't that integral to his shooting skills. Yeah, he's very, very vision focused. He keeps his eye on the prize at all times.
I wasn't doing anything to her. I wasn't abusing her, not hitting her. I'm not that type of person. Look, this is a very sensitive situation, and I understand the internet doesn't like me very much right now. Probably not going to like me ever again. I mean, that is the way it goes sometimes. Absolutely. But
well, listen, Ben was shooting all over the place. All over the place, 100%. And again, like you can take everything with a grain of salt as of right now, but if something else comes out and like allegations of a more serious nature are proven, like let's say real abuse, SA, unfathered children, or not unfathered, well, fathered children that he ignores, stuff like that, I take those claims a lot more seriously, right?
Because of the nature of the allegations that these chicks had made, I should put out my side of the story at least a little bit, just a little bit in public. And it's like, you guys can think what you want about me. That's fine. Like the worst of it, as far as like hitting people or doing SA, stuff like that, that is not me. That is not real. I did not do that. Anyway, that's it.
There it is. That's it.
It's not normal.
10-minute response, probably the last time Ben will ever speak on it. J-Lo says, I had Ben pegged as a DGen after like 4 videos, LMAO. Yeah, one of the first things that Ben said to me, because he's also been on the show a couple times, was like, you know, by the way, like, just so your audience knows, like, I'm a total degen, right? Because the way that we interacted was after the Grantham videos, right? And so he's like, listen, don't get the wrong idea about me. Like, me and Grantham are not so different. You and I are not so different.
That's fine, as long as he's not trying to.
Well, yeah, you know.
You
Also,
know.
I want to be clear here, too. Ben, like, apologized and took accountability for his actions. Grantham never has. Never once. Grantham has only whined and moaned on the internet and claimed it's not happening while on his third
whined and
family.
moaned, that was
Yeah, not in that order.
That's kind of what he was
Yeah,
on the app
well,
for,
you know, doing the whole Christian dad advice, tradcat LARP, while, you know, different families in different states and all sorts of wacky shenanigans.
Whine and moan.
Did you guys see that he was engaged? He's on wife number 3 now.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wife number 3 coming up. Future Mrs. X.
You see your ass, darling. I really want to see.
I did not click that button. I did not.